Welcome to my channel, and I'm back with you once again with another video of Microsoft Flight Simulator 24. Nowadays I'm exploring the Flybywire Airbus A380, and in this regard I'm planning to make a series of videos of this plane so that I can just break down all the information related to a flight into different videos, which will make it easy for you to look for specific information on my channel. Before this, I've uploaded videos in which I've shown you how to install the Flybywire Airbus A380 for the Microsoft Flight Simulator 24 and then how to configure the EFB and the FMS of this plane. Now in this video, I will show you how to start this plane from the cold and dark state, and then I will be also uploading videos in which I will show you how to take this plane up in the air and fly it on autopilot and how to perform an ILS approach and landing. I will give you all the links in the description, and you can just go and follow any of the link as per your learning curve for this plane. So every time when I'm making a video, I'm making it for the beginner, so that's why I just try to keep things simple and to the point, because I assume that the people with little or no information of the flight simulation are watching these videos. So I enable them to go through the procedures and fly this plane. So today I will be doing this flight from Dubai to Islamabad, and the plane is at the Dubai International Airport. So before I begin this video, let me just give you a little bit of introduction of the cockpit, because you will be interacting with lots of controls. So you should be really familiar with all the parts of the cockpit. This is the overhead panel, and this overhead panel has got the controls for the fuel pumps, for the hydraulic pumps. These are the controls for the lights, and then you have the external power, the battery buttons, and then you have these knobs for the GPS. This part of the plane is known as the FCU, which is a flight control unit. You interact with autopilot using this control, and you can change the different modes of the autopilot. Then this is EFS, which is Electronic Flight Instrument System, on the left hand side, and on the right hand side you can adjust the altimeter with this control, and you can change different views on the navigation display, which is over here and over here. Then lots of screens. So this is the prime flight display on the left hand side and on the right hand side. Then this is the navigation display, or the ND, over here and over here. Now these two screens are the ECAMs, which is Electronic Centralized Aircraft Monitor. This is known as the upper ECAM, and this is known as the lower ECAM. Then you have these two screens. They are known as the multifunction display. You can interact with the flight management system and the transponder, and then you can just do many things over here related to the flight with these screens. You actually interact with the flight management guidance system using these multifunction displays. Then on the pedestal, you have thrust levers, and then you have the control for the flaps, for the spoilers, and then you have radio communication over here, and that's it, plus some light controls and the brake. Now let's press shift space, get to this view, and let's get some power in the plane. This plane, every plane almost, if you're flying the jet engines, they have 4 different power sources. One is the battery. Obviously batteries remain on throughout the flight, so you have to turn on the batteries in order to get some power in the plane. Then once the plane is on the ground and the engines are not running, the power source is the GPU, which is known as the ground power unit, and you have these 4 controls for the external power. And once you start the pushback, or just before the pushback, you have to disconnect the GPU, and then the external power will not be available. For this, you have this option, which is APU, auxiliary power unit. You have to turn on the auxiliary power unit, which is a generator at the back of the plane, and it supplies power to the plane. So once the APU is up and running, you disconnect the external power, you start the pushback, and after the pushback, once you start the engines, then you have to turn off the APU, because then you will have the power from the engines. So let's get some power in the plane. You see these 4 buttons, battery 1, and that's it. So if you turn on these 4 battery switches, you will see some power in the plane. Now the external power is already connected, but if the external power is not connected, you can turn on this EFB, or the electronic flight bag. Let me just show it to you. You go to the ground services, and over here you can see the ground power unit is connected, which is GPU. So you can also disconnect it, but it's right now connected. So if you don't see anything over here on the external power, right now you can see it says available. So you can just like turn on the external power, and that's it. So you have some power. Make sure that the thrust levers are in the idle position. The flaps are retracted. The ground spoilers are also disarmed, and the gear lever is down. So, and the wipers are off. That's it. Because if you get some power in the plane, the wipers will start working. So you have to make sure that the wipers are off. That's it. Now you have some power in the plane, and I can now start configuring the EFB and the FMS for the flight. So over here you will see these three knobs. This is actually AD Iris, which is Air Data Inertial Reference System. This actually provides the GPS coordinates to the flight management guidance system. You have to turn on these knobs. You have to set them to nav. I think if I press 8, I will get this view, and Shift S, I will go back. So you have to move these knobs to nav, and you can see the numbers are here, IR 1, 2, and 3. So this is the sequence 1, 2, and 3. Now if I press Shift 8, I will just go back to this point. Now you will see you will have some information on the prime flight display and the navigation display. If I go to the settings, and if I think this is, no, not this one, same options. I always forget. Realism. So over here you have this ADIRS align time. So you can change it to instant, fast, or real. So for real, it will take 6 to 7 minutes for the iris alignment to be completed. Right now you can see the iris alignment is there because I've set it to instant. And fast, it takes around about 2 to 3 minutes. That's it. So you can change the settings from here. Now I have already made the flight plan, and I will just import this flight plan in the EFB. I will not go into the flight planning part and the detailed configuration of the EFB and the FMS because I've already covered it in the video. I will give you a link in the description, and you can just go and follow that video. So let's get the flight plan. Import sim brief data, and you have Dubai Islamabad, alternate is OPLA, which is Lahore, and you have the weather information. Now if you press this option, you will see the operational flight plan, and over here you have the ground services. So let's get the jet bridge and baggage and the catering. So now you can see that the ground services have started and the jetway is getting connected to the plane. And that's it. I know, this error happens. Although I'm using medium graphic settings, but every time when I'm making a video, this thing happens because I think I'm also running the video capturing software on the system. I think I should get the external one, maybe today or tomorrow, but that's it. Okay, so now the ground services are being carried out, and now I can get the fuel. So if you go to this tab in the ground services, you can get the fuel. So now the refuel time again, if you set to real, takes 1 minute because there's I think already fuel in the plane, but it takes a lot of time. Instant, it's done instantly, so I will just refuel the plane. Oh, it's already there. 46 tons or 46,400 kilograms. Now for the payload, again you can set to real, which will take 39 minutes. Fast, it will be 8 minutes, and instant. So you can change. So for this video, I'm using this option, instant. By the way, you can press this button, you can also get the readings. And you can press this button to start the boarding. And now the passengers are there, 471, and the cargo is there. And the zero fuel weight. And then you have the zero fuel weight center of gravity. That's it. Now it's time to configure the FMS. So let's go to the FMS and let's go to this option, initialization. You can use this option as well, or you can press in it over here as well. Let's get the company flight plan. It will take some time, 3 to 4 seconds or maybe 5 seconds. And now the company flight plan received. I can just like pick this option and insert, and that's it. Now this plane doesn't pick up the wind information, so you have to enter the trip wind. Let's go over here to the operational flight plan, and you will see the average wind. So it's 008. This is the speed, and this is the heading. So let's enter 8. That's it. Now let's set the departure. So operational flight plan, if I go to this option routing, I will get this flight plan. So 30 left and DevMo 4F. 30 left, DevMo 4F, and insert temporary flight plan. And for Islamabad International Airport, it's 28 right, Kalmi 1A. To it right, approaches ILS. 28 right, 28 right, sorry. And via, I'll just keep, I think it's through ISDO, yes. And Kalmi 1A, that's it. Now let's check the flight plan, whether it's a good flight plan or not. Actually, flight plans are tricky. You have to be really familiar with this route. So now you can see this is the correct flight plan. So via ISDO. Because every airport has got a different arrival procedure and approach procedures. So you should be familiar with this airport, because Islamabad is my home city. So I'm really familiar with it because I've been flying a lot since 2018. So let's go to this option ARC, and now this is there. Let's go to init. And for the fuel and load, you have to enter it manually over here. So if you go to this option and you go to the payload, you will get the zero fuel weight, which is 348 tons or 348,496 kilograms. So I will enter 348.5. I will round it up. So let's enter it over here, 348.5, enter. And the zero fuel weight center of gravity, it's 34.5. That's it. And the block fuel is, let's go to this option fuel. And the block fuel is 46.4 tons. You always round it up. Somebody asked me that why you round it up, because these settings are required for the takeoff. So for the takeoff, if you are giving little bit of extra power, then it's safe, rather than giving less value and giving less power to the engines for the takeoff. So that's why you always round it up, the values. Entry out of range, I actually entered the wrong zero fuel weight over here. That's why this thing was appearing over here. Otherwise, it's good. Actually, I've got very noisy neighbors. I live in an apartment, and just like a month back, I have some noisy neighbors. So at times I'm distracted. Sorry for this. Okay. So I really have to edit my videos a lot, because at just like at any instance, some kid just starts crying or yelling. This is funny. Okay, so I think if in my video, if you hear any kid, kindly excuse me for that. I'm actually experiencing the real life flight experience, because every time when you fly, there's always a kid who's crying. So now you have the fuel and the load, and for the takeoff performance, you need sim brief. So if I press tab, and I can get this option over here, you can see the sim brief dispatch system is there. I've installed it for the Microsoft Flight Simulator. You can also install it. I will give you a link in the description in which I've shown you how to install it, so you can get it. So now if you go to this takeoff tab, you can get the takeoff performance. And right now you can see the thrust settings, toga and flex. Bleed will be, I will set it to auto. Anti-I is set to auto. The wind is there. I can click this button, populate the weather. And flex assume temperature enabled. So it will be a reduced thrust. And improved climb, enable and calculate. So now I have all the speeds. So let's enter V1. as I've told you before, I've actually covered this thing in one of the videos. So the link is there in the description. So you can just go and follow it, because I'm just trying to save time. And the flex is 66 degrees centigrade. So let's enter 66 and press enter. That's it. And for trimmable horizontal stabilizer, you have to get the gross weight center of gravity. Let's press this button. You get this gross weight center of gravity, which is 35. That's it. And press enter. And transition altitude is 13,000 for this flight. That's it. Now I can get the checklist over here on the screen on the upper ECAM. You see this control over here? Checklist. So the checklist is there, and you can just scroll through the checklist using these buttons up and down. So first of all, cockpit preparation, just click it, and the first option is gear pins and covers. So let's check it. They're removed and fuel quantity is there. So as now the fueling is complete, I can turn on the seatbelt signs. So this is the control for the seatbelt. So let's turn on the seatbelt signs and plus no mobile, set to auto, and let's arm the emergency exit lights. That's it. I can also set the strobe to auto. This is actually a white blinking light. It's required throughout the flight. So if you set it to auto, then after the takeoff it turns on, and once you land it turns off. Otherwise it's not required when you're taxiing or during the pushback. The beacon is a red light which blinks in the night. It's actually an indicator which tells the ground crew that you're going to start the engines. So if I change the time, yeah, you can see it's blinking. So now as I will be starting the engine, so that's why the ground crew will know that I'm ready for the flight. Let's change the time again back to, it was 11:55. Anyhow, that's it. Then I can also turn on the nav light. So let's again go out and change the time. And let's see, where is the nav light? So you have the nav lights on the wings. This is the green light. So if any plane, especially in the night, sees this green light, so it will know that this plane is going towards its right side. And over here you will see this red light. So the plane knows that this plane is going towards its left side. That's it. And you then have the logo light. Let's turn it on, and this is the logo light. That's it. So I can again change the time. Yeah, okay. So that's it. So now the lights are on, and the baro ref. So let's adjust the EFS. So if I press comma, yeah, you will get the readings. Now you can see we have the latest or the current settings. I think it's NEG is there. Let me check if it is correct. What is as per the operational flight plan? Let me just... Niner. Yeah, that's correct. I think this will disappear. You see this NEG if you don't have the correct readings for the altimeter, but let's see. So I have adjusted the baro ref. Let's check it, and checklist complete. That's it. Then again press checklist, and then before the start. So it's not required right now. So after the pushback, I will just go through this before start checklist, and I can just press checklist again and it will just disappear. Now the altitude for the cruise, it's basically flight level 390 or 39,000 feet. As I'm not communicating with the ATC, so I can straight away set to 39,000 feet as the plane will be climbing in the manage mode. So that's why it will follow all the constraints. I will just explain it to you right now. What is that? Now you have this oxygen supply for the crew. That's it. So let's turn it on, and then these are the controls for the fuel pumps. So let's turn on the fuel pumps. And that's it. Now it's time to turn on the APU because as I told you before, I will be starting the pushback and we have to disconnect the GPU, but we still need some power in the plane. So you can turn on the APU and then you can start the APU. Now make sure that the ground services are complete. So go to this option and you can see all the doors are closed except for this one because the jet bridge is connected. So I can just disconnect the jet bridge and this door will be also closed. That's it. Now the APU is running. You will see this N1 and N2. This is basically the rotation. And this is exhaust gas temperature. So once you have the APU available, you will get the power from the APU. And then the APU bleed, it's actually pressurized air which is used to turn on the engines and required for the air conditioning. So right now there's no APU bleed as well. Once the APU is on, then I will turn on the APU bleed. That's it. So for the Airbus planes, all the buttons should be black. It means everything is good. But if you see some color, green, white or orange, then it means you have to address it. So right now you can see that for the engines, there is for a generator, it's showing fault. Because right now the engines are not on. So once I'll turn on the engines, then this will also disappear. So now you can see the APU is available. There is this green light, and if I press this button over here, I will also get the APU information, or you can see you get the voltage from the APU. That's it. And you can also see it over here. So you're getting voltage from the external as well, and that's it. And from the APU as well. So external is on. I can turn it off. So now the external shows available, and I can go to this option over here and I can disconnect the ground power. Now avail is not even shown over here, and you can see it has disappeared. Now you only have the power from the APU and nothing from the engines. That's it. So I can just press it again, and that's it. Now the doors are closed. That's good. Parking brake is on. I have to turn off the parking brake in order to start the pushback. So this plane has a built-in pushback system. So I can just turn it on, confirm, and I can call the tug. And with this, I can release the parking brakes. That's it. I'm actually using a Thrustmaster TCA quadrant, and it is configured for this plane Airbus A400M. And because it also has got 4 levers for the thrust, 4 engines. So that's why I will give you a link in the description. So if you don't know how to configure the Thrustmaster TCA quadrant for this plane, you can just go and watch that video and you will be able to configure it. So now I can start the pushback. Pushback is a bit tricky over here. You can change the speed of the tug. So everything is looking good so far. I can turn on the APU bleed as well. Now if I move this button or this knob, you can see it stops. I don't know. This thing is problematic. You can again increase. So if I move this knob all the way to the left, I can get the airport chart. This is basically airport navigation function, the built-in function of this plane. It only works if you've got the Navigraph subscription. And now I can also turn right. So if you move the slider, you can see this direction is shown. You can just like go for a sharp turn or a slow turn. That's it. But otherwise, it's like one of the best planes in the Microsoft Flight Simulator, freely available by Flybywire. It automatically stopped. I didn't do anything. You can just like disconnect the tug. Let me just apply the brakes again. And the brakes are there. And let me just pause. And then I can turn off the pushback system. Let me see if the tug is it getting connected or disconnected. Now it's disconnected. Okay. So now you can see this is the runway. So I'm facing in the right direction. That's it. Now it's time to turn on the engine. So APU bleed is on. Let me just also bring up this checklist. But before this, let's do one more thing. Either on this screen, on this screen. If you go to this option, serve, this is surveillance, you can turn on the transponder and the weather radar. So this is the control for the transponder. Just set it to auto and move this to TARA, which is traffic avoidance and which is traffic advisory and resolution advisory. So it's on. Weather radar, I think it's inoperable in this plane. Yeah, weather, it doesn't work. So you can just keep it like this. So let's go to FMS2 and let's bring the checklist and click. So the parking brake is there before I turn on the engines, and that's it. Takeoff speeds and thrust. This is thrust levers are in the idle position. I've entered all the takeoff speeds and everything is there. Checklist is complete, and that's it. And now I have a checklist for after start. So let's now turn on the engines. So this is the engine mode selector. Just move it to the right. Start position, and now I can turn on engine 1 and 2. Now you can see engine 1 and 2 available, so I can also turn on engine 3 and 4. And once you have the engines up and running, then the hydraulic systems will also be available. Right now you can see that for engine 1 and 2, generator fault has disappeared, but for 3 and 4 it's still there. It will also disappear once engine 3 and 4 are available. Now you can see engine 3 and 4 also available, so this fault has disappeared. With this, as now we have the engines up and running, we don't need the APU bleed and plus the APU. I can turn it off and move this engine mode selector to normal, and that's it. So now after the start checklist, let's go through it. So NTIs is not required. These are the controls for the NTI, so if it's required you can just turn it on. That's it. So let's check this item, and pitch trim is automatically adjusted. There is something really interesting in the Airbus A380 and the 50. You don't have to adjust the trim for the setting. This is actually the trimmable horizontal stabilizer at the back of the plane, which sets the pitch of the plane, whether to pitch up or down. Let me just press comma again. This is not disappearing. Very strange. Okay, so for the Airbus planes, for 350 and 380, this is automatically adjusted, so the pilots don't have to worry about that. That's it. Enter, and rudder is neutral. You have this rudder trim, so you can just like move it. This is actually the rudder. So I think it's moving right now. So it should be 0. That's it. It's there, and now the checklist is complete. That's it. So again, checklist and for the taxi. Now the flight controls, we have to carry out this check. So you will get this option over here. This is something really interesting about the Airbus planes, that as per the flight modes, you start to see different information over here. So what I can do is this. If it disappears, I can press this button, flight control, and I can get this view. And now I can just like check the elevators, and then left and right for the ailerons and the rudder. That's it. So it's now complete. I can just press this button and it will disappear. Oh, it's again there. Okay. So I can just check this option and the flap settings. Let's set the flaps to position 1. because if I just go to this option, performance, you will see the flaps should be set to 1, and it's shown over here as well. That's it. Let's also set the constraints over here. Let's get the weather, although it doesn't work, so it's okay. And that's it. And the ground spoilers. So in case of rejected takeoff, you need the ground spoilers. This is the ground spoilers over here, so they help in reducing the speed. Then you have auto brake. So this is the auto brake, this one, but this is for the rejected takeoff, RTO. And that's it. So takeoff configuration, can I do the check right now? Yeah, takeoff configuration normal, checklist complete, and that's it. Now there is a checklist for the lineup. So right now not required. I can just get rid of it. And now on the upper ECAM, you can see that everything is good. So let's turn on the lights for the taxi and for the wing and for runway turn off lights, and that's it. So everything is good now. You can see all the buttons are black now, so everything is good. So that's how you start this plane from the cold and dark state, and hopefully after watching this video you will be able to do it. Now I will be actually making the other parts of this video in which I will show you how to take this plane up in the air, fly it on autopilot, and then how to perform an ILS approach and landing. So you can just go and follow any of the links in the description if you want to skip to any of the parts, and I will also be uploading a complete tutorial of this plane on my channel. If you have any questions, you can ask me in the comment section, or if you want to add anything to this video, the comment section is there for you. Thank you very much for watching it. Have a nice day. Hope to see you soon.